didn't think this could get any stranger, but this woman has bit his foot. What am I watching right now? Imagine being the only guy in town. All of the girls want to date you because there's only one guy, and it's you. Well, that's what happens to this guy in today's true animated story. Or at least I think it does. These stories are always a mystery until we watch them. If you guys are excited for today's video, do make sure to leave a like on it. Let's try and hit 10,000. And now, let's watch this crazy story. Headset on.
I was the only boy born into a girl's village after 20 years. When you're the first boy to be born into a village chock-block full of girls after 20 years, let me tell you, that's some burden to bear.
Do you see how the baby winked? He knew. From the very first day he was born, he knew he was gonna be a player.
All you guys out there are probably thinking it must be like winning the lottery. Girls flocking to your feet everywhere. Yeah, it kinda was like that at first, but then things just got weird. Okay, so I live in a small village in East Europe, and the women have been giving birth to only girls for the past 20 years.
If they've only been giving birth to girls, then how have they been giving birth? Where did they find the men? I am confusion.
We aren't really sure why, but my village believes that they got cursed from a witch that they kicked out a long time ago. But if you ask me, I think God is the one punishing us for kicking her out. On top of all that, people in my village are not allowed to marry people from the outside. So, the moment my parents realized I was a boy, they quickly wrapped me up in a blanket and kept my gender a secret.
So you're not the only man in the village because you have a dad. What? Is anybody else really confused? I thought he was gonna be the only man in the entire village, but he has a dad, so like that doesn't make sense.
They told everyone I was a girl and that my name was Jackie, when in actual fact, I was a boy and my name was Jared. A little bit weird, right? But my parents had no other option. They knew that people would freak out if they found out I was a boy.
Why would people freak out? Surely they'd be happy. Finally, a boy has been born. There's no curse anymore. Why would they be mad about that? Isn't that what they want? For people to be able to have a son?
No one in our village had given birth to a boy in more than 20 years, and my parents didn't want me to get so much attention. They just wanted me to live a normal life. Except it wasn't normal, and I only realized that now, thinking back. At the time, I was none the wiser.
They seriously dressed this boy up as a girl his entire childhood. And I bet he didn't think it was strange either, because everybody else dressed the same way. This is messed up.
I happily played with dolls and wore frilly dresses, and let everyone call me Jackie. I mean, I didn't even know I was called Jared. Well, that was until I was 5 years old. I was playing in our backyard when a woman appeared on the other side of the wall. She was dangling some candy in front of my face.
Never take candy from a stranger, especially a stranger who's dangling over a wall. This is kind of creepy.
And like a little puppy dog, I followed her. I kept looking back, expecting my parents to come running out to get me, but they were nowhere to be seen. The woman asked me to get into her car and told me that if I was a good boy, she'd give me more candy.
Has this kid never heard of stranger danger? Do not follow a person with candy and do not get in their car. That is rule 101 of life. Wait a damn second, did this lady also say if you're a good boy? This lady knows that she is a he?
I didn't even think twice. My parents never let me eat candy. But then, I realized she'd said good boy, and I turned to her and told her I was a girl. I'll never forget the way she threw her head back and let out a chuckle. She looked at me and said, "Sure, Pumpkin, and I'm the President of the United States." Oh, look, there's a flying pig. I fell for it and looked.
You fell for a flying pig. I know you're only like 5, but a flying pig? Seriously?
In the next moment, she'd lifted up my dress and said, "See, you're a boy, you little freak." I didn't understand what she was talking about.
This lady is incredibly rude, and she's also trying to kidnap you.
And then she explained that I was a boy, and that my parents had been lying to me. Then she said the village mayor was offering a reward to the first woman to give birth to a son.
Well, why didn't his parents come forward and be like, you know what, we did have a son, we dressed him up as a girl this entire time, but yo, give me the money.
And seeing as my parents were keeping me a secret, she'd hand me over and collect the reward money herself. I was too young to fully understand, but I knew I was in serious trouble. I started screaming and thrashing my arms about, and this only made her drive faster. I have no idea why I did what I did next, but suddenly, I jumped onto her knee. She couldn't see where she was going.
You are gonna cause a car crash. This is terrible. You both could die. But then again, what are you meant to do if you're being kidnapped? It's a pretty terrifying circumstance.
And that's when we crashed. We could have died, but I didn't care. At that moment, all I wanted was to get away from that horrible woman, and it was my lucky day.
Run free, child. Run to the hills.
At that moment, all I wanted was to get away from that horrible woman, and it was my lucky day, because all that happened was her car got a bit crushed, but I escaped without even a scratch. I started running back towards our village, and she was chasing me, but I was too fast for her. My parents suddenly drove by.
Your parents drove by. Did your parents not question where you were, or were they out looking for you? Because that dad looks pretty concerned.
My mom burst into tears. Well, there was nothing that woman could do. She was well and truly caught now. Turns out she'd escaped from a nearby psychiatric clinic, and they came and picked her up promptly.
Wow. You are so lucky to have escaped. That woman was crazy.
My parents had no other choice. They had to tell the mayor and everyone else that I was actually a boy, and that my name was Jared. But I like being Jackie, I told them.
I wonder if the parents ever claimed the reward. Why wouldn't you? Free money? Yeah, collect that cash.
That just made my mom cry more. And when she switched my dresses for shorts and t-shirts, I felt strange. I thought no one would want to be my friend anymore, but I couldn't have been more wrong. All of a sudden, every girl wanted to be my friend. I was the center of attention, and honestly, it was too much.
How confusing would it have been for all of those kids? Their friend Jackie no longer exists and was always Jared. My tiny mind would have been blown.
I was just a kid. Suddenly, I had girls hanging off me, wanting to play with me all the time. How come I was more popular as a boy than a girl? Anyway, the older I got, the more intense it became. When I turned 12, the village mayor started a new tradition. From now on, every year on my birthday, I'd sit on a throne for the whole day.
Oh my gosh, he's being treated like a king.
And all the women who wanted to conceive baby boys would come and bow at my feet. And one by one, they'd reach out and kiss my feet. It freaked me out so much. But the mayor told me he'd buy me a special gift if I did this one thing for the village. One time though, it was taken too far. One woman wouldn't stop kissing my toes, and suddenly, I felt a sharp pain shooting through my body. She'd gotten so carried away, she'd actually bitten down.
Oh my gosh! I didn't think this could get any stranger, but this woman has bit his foot. What am I watching right now? Oh my gosh. Okay.
I was even bleeding. After that, I refused to do it the following year. It was just some stupid ritual that the village thought would bring them luck. And come on, it wasn't even working. I was still the only boy. When I turned 18, I decided the only way to handle all the attention was to just embrace it. There was one girl, Sammy, who was actually pretty cute. And after she basically begged and stalked me for weeks, I agreed to be her boyfriend.
Why would you agree to date someone who has stalked you for weeks? That is just not okay and not normal. This poor guy. I feel so bad for him. He's being harassed by all of these women. He's even had his feet bitten.
Of course, all the other girls were jealous, and I was worried I was about to start World War III. Looks like Sammy won. I actually felt like I was really falling for her, and one night, she invited me over to her house. Her parents were out, so we started making out. She was really hot.
Oh, it's getting a bit raunchy.
She reassured me they'd only be home much later, but suddenly we heard the door. I leapt behind the sofa half-dressed, and then things went horribly wrong. Well, how did it go? Did he put a baby in you yet?
Oh my gosh, it was all a ploy so that she could have a baby boy. Wow, I bet he feels so used right now. This is horrible.
Come on, Sammy, we aren't paying you all this money so you can sit around. Give us a grandson already. I couldn't believe it. She'd been using me. I stood up and gave her parents the biggest fight. Then I turned to Sammy and said, "Screw you. I hope it's a girl you have." Then I grabbed my clothes and walked out. I never wanted to see her again.
Is she actually pregnant? What if it's a boy? What if this plan worked and you just got led into having a baby that you didn't even want?
But then later she fell off the stairs and had a miscarriage.
Just as you think this story can't get any worse, it does. Wow, she fell down the stairs. Okay.
To everyone's shock, Sammy was actually pregnant with a baby boy. After that, the whole village knew about it and made them go even crazier. Women lined up outside my house for the whole day. Some even tried to enter my home. Everyone wanted my number and my social media contact. They even put security to watch me. But then I was like, screw it. After the way Sammy used me, I decided to get revenge by dating as many girls as possible. Girls were basically falling at my feet, while guys around the world were doing the impossible to get girls' attention. So I dated a whole bunch of them at the same time. and they did everything for me.
Boy is a player. He has multiple girlfriends on the go.
They got me food, gave me massages, and I got all kinds of gifts daily.
He's living like a true king.
I mean, we all know how much fun a guy like me can have with girls. They were just so hot and amazing. And the best part, I didn't have to work for it. But there was so much expectation. They all wanted sons. I wasn't ready to be a father. Babies were so not my thing. I tried to talk to my mom about it, but suddenly she started crying. I told her I wasn't interested in hearing about how much she wanted a grandson again. But then she took me by surprise. She told me she was sick and that she didn't have much time left.
Oh my gosh, this story just keeps going down with the sadness levels. Someone bit his foot. There was a miscarriage. His mom is sick. What next?
And that she only wanted me to be happy. I felt so guilty. Was I being selfish? Why couldn't I just give my mom what she truly wanted?
You are not being selfish for not wanting a child. Don't let anyone pressure you into that, boy.
Which was clearly a grandson. After our conversation, I asked Amy, who lived next door to us, if she wanted to be my girlfriend. I made her swear to keep it secret so that the other girls didn't get jealous. I felt like time was against us. Mom kept getting more sick, and Amy and I were having no luck getting pregnant. Then I thought, what if I had another girlfriend too? I don't know if it was the thought of losing my mom and not giving her what she wanted, or if I was actually going insane or something.
You shouldn't be cheating on people. That's so wrong. No, this story just makes no sense.
But I asked Leanne, who lived at the end of the village, if she'd like to be my girlfriend too, and obviously she said yes. Please don't judge me for two-timing. I just felt desperate.
I am judging you. I'm judging you a lot.
On the same day, they both called me and told me they were pregnant.
Now look what mess you've got yourself into, boy. What did you expect?
Amy was a strict Catholic and said her parents would kill her if we didn't get married. So I married her at home and we had a quiet little ceremony. But then, Leanne told her dad she was pregnant, and he threatened to beat my ass if I didn't marry his daughter.
Don't tell me you got married to two women, because that's incredibly illegal. I'm not sure if you can get out of that.
I knew I didn't have a choice, but was it even legal? 2 wives? But no one would need to know. This all happened in the same week. Suddenly I had 2 wives and 2 babies on the way.
No! What does he mean nobody has to know? Surely your wives have to know. How are you gonna live a double life?
Leanne's dad gave me a job on his farm, so I spent the daytime with Leanne. Then every night I'd go home and stay with Amy. Can you believe I didn't get caught? My parents knew about Amy, but I just prayed they didn't find out about Leanne. Listen, I wasn't happy about it. In fact, I didn't feel anything for these girls. And I was sure it would get out at some point.
So he didn't love either of them. Yet he's living this pretend life with 2 wives. Why don't you just get yourself out of this mess, divorce them both, and leave?
And it did, because both of them gave birth to boys. I was there for Amy's and had to rush over to Leanne's to make her birth too.
They both gave birth on the same day? Oh my gosh. Surely this story has to be fake. This is so ridiculous.
And the mayor held another stupid ceremony. Well, there was no way I could go. Everyone would find out. I packed a small bag and gave my mom a kiss goodbye, and then I took my dad's old bicycle and cycled out of the village as far as I could. I rented a small room at a cheap motel, but then every social media platform reported me missing. The whole village was looking for me.
You've left your dying mother and escaped the village. What? What the heck is happening? Oh my gosh. These stories.
I tried to disguise myself as someone else, and I started working at a grocery store nearby.
Great disguise. Just put on a mustache and there you go, completely new person.
A long time passed and no one found me. I started having male friends my age, which was pretty cool. But to be completely honest, I also missed my family.
What about your mum and your children? Do you not care about them? This guy.
I was scared of what they'd do if I went back to see them, so I never did. Until one day, after a whole year passed, I heard a knock on the door. It was the motel manager standing there with my 2 wives, and he said, "These women are looking for you." I wanted to run, but I saw that they were holding 2 adorable baby boys. My 2 wives told me, "We want you back. We don't care that you're married to both of us, but if it's too much for you, you can choose one." I hated how my life was like before, but after seeing my 2 boys, I couldn't stay here.
How are the wives so forgiving? If that was me and my husband and married someone else, I would be fuming. I would be absolutely livid. But they were just so chill about it.
My village needed me to have more children. Both of my wives were pretty cool, so I decided to stay married to them both. And eventually, I got a third wife after a few years. And today, I became the proud father of 10 boys.
Wow, just wow, that's all I can say. This story was absolutely insane and I didn't expect it to go like that. Also, are we ever gonna find out what happened to the mother? Did she die while he had just disappeared? Son of the Year award goes to this man. Anyway guys, that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy it and you would like to watch another one, click here and let's go watch it together.